Hello, my name is Cleopas Banda or Dr. Cleopas Banda. I am an occupational health and social protection specialist medical doctor by profession. But on the social scene, I love public discourse or public debate. Hence, I used to be a freelance and voluntary columnist in one of the national newspapers. Today, I want to talk to you about a topic that I think is very topical. This is the topic of the purpose of government. As a freelance and voluntary columnist in one of those national newspapers I talked about, I have published a book with 63 topically hot articles. The book is called Topical Discussions Volume 1. This book is actually a collection of all my previous articles which were published in that national newspaper. It is now available on Amazon Books in both electronic and print versions, but it will soon be available locally in hard copies. So let's go into the topic. What exactly is the purpose of government? Why were government formed by the people through the grace of God to oversee the people? What is exactly the function of government? How should government work? And what should they work on? And what should they be concentrating on doing? The first and perhaps most important job, function, or purpose of any government system on this planet, be it at core family, extended family, clan, tribal, community, local, or national government level, is to provide an environment in which the people can live, can thrive, and can coexist harmoniously, peacefully, safely, and securely at all times. This is the most important and most basic function or purpose of government. Peace, safety, and security are prerequisites for human life, for human growth, and for human development. Without peace, safety, and security, human life can easily be lost. As such, peace, safety, and security must actually be looked upon as basic human rights. Hence, all types of government, this is from the core family government to national government, all their people or the people that govern a peaceful, safe, and secure environment in which they can freely thrive, grow, and develop. Nothing less than that will do. This is the number one and most important function or purpose of government anywhere and everywhere in this world. Number two, closely linked to this number one job, purpose or function of government. The second purpose of government is to ensure that people are always allowed, empowered, and enabled to govern themselves at all levels and in accordance with prevailing international best practice standards, and not just any way, which how. This self-governance must be from grassroots level up to national government level. In this regard, the purpose of government is not to dictate to the people as to how they should be governed, but to allow and to assist them to organize themselves in that regard. In this case, the purpose of government here is just to be an overseer, to oversee the deliberation, concretization, adoption, enactment, installation, enforcement, and maintenance of people-based, people-derived, people-oriented public governance, management, and administration systems, laws, principles, practices, all of which would guarantee public peace, safety, and security, and maintain law and order at all times. That's it. This is what it means to say people have the right to govern themselves. People have got the right to choose the type of government they want. People have got the right to choose how they install the government they want to govern them and how that government functions or governs them. That is a right which must be bestowed upon the people by their national government, while it guides them, leads them, and steers them towards implementing international best practice standards in that regard. The third purpose or function of government is to ensure that there is real, true, complete, meaningful, and unfettered universal access to all God-given basic human rights. These basic human rights are, in short, the right to life, the right to freedom or liberty, and the right to happiness. And also, the right to anything and everything else which is material to, associated with, or incidental to the same. For example, the right to life means the right to life-giving, life-supporting, life-prolonging, and life-protecting things such as food, shelter, health, education, transport, communication, safety, and security. The right to liberty or freedom means the right to freedom of thought, freedom of ideology, freedom of speech, freedom of expression, freedom of association, freedom of choice, etc., etc. Of course, all these and other freedoms are not absolute. They come with their own and universally accepted standard limitations. The right to happiness means the right to do or to pursue things which would make one happy, but always within certain universally agreed limitations which respect the rights of other people in that regard as well. That's it, right? Those are basic human rights. All basic human rights are not absolute. They are within certain given prescriptions or parameters which respect the right of other people. The fourth job, purpose, or function of government is to ensure that the governed people are universally and meaningfully allowed, empowered, and enabled to look after themselves, to fend for themselves, and to individually and collectively prosper under all, any, or whatever circumstances they may find themselves in. Governments should not do anything for anybody. Governments should not create and must not create or foster a dependency syndrome amongst the governed people. That will not be right. Just as parents must not make their children to become perpetually dependent on them. Instead, parents must educate and train their children to be physically, mentally, socially, financially, and economically independent from them as soon as is possible. The very same principle or philosophy applies with national governments. National governments must provide an enabling environment in which people can thrive and prosper and can do things for themselves. It must empower people to thrive and prosper and enable them to be able to do things for themselves. That is one of the most important purposes or functions of government. It is not there to spoon feed people, to dish out allowances, grants, freebies, free handouts of anything, whether it's money or anything. Instead, the government must make people self-sufficient and be proud, independent, self-sufficient individuals. The fifth and final job, purpose, or function of any government system in this world is to ensure the availability, affordability, and accessibility of all life-supporting basic human needs. These being food, shelter, health, education, transport, communication, safety, and security. How can government do this? It's very easy. This can be easily done through putting into place international best practice standards, based and universally accessible social security, social solidarity, and social protection systems, programs, and services at national level. What this means in practice is that national governments must put into place such things as the social security, social solidarity, and social protection systems and programs and funds. Like, for example, one, the National Agricultural Development Funds to take care of food security and related issues. Number two, National Housing Development Funds to take care of the people's housing needs. In this day and age, people should not stay in Stone Age houses, stick and mud houses, pole and dagger houses, stone and mud and stick and mud houses, the so-called mikukus or rotitimelas in some places, squatter camps. It is not okay. If people stay in sheds, if there is anywhere in this world where people are still staying in those things, it means that their national government has failed to deliver on the intended purpose for which that national government was put in place. No one should be staying in Stone Age or Bush Age kind of accommodation in this day and age. Proper accommodation must have lighting, running water, electricity, flush toilets, well-ventilated spaces, and be appropriate for the number of people that are staying in there and not be overcrowded. Anything else less than that basic standards is not good enough. The other thing in terms of national insurance programs that the government can do is to put into place National Health Insurance Fund, which would ensure that there is universal access to high-quality healthcare services for everyone. There must also be National Education Insurance Funds to ensure universal access to education by all who need it, from kindergarten through primary school, high school, up to university and beyond. It's very important. Social security is very important. How can people be able to look after themselves if they don't access the kind of education that they need that would enable them to be able to fend for themselves when they grow up, when they become adults, or as soon as possible? So education is very important. Any government that makes education available to the rich and famous, to those who can pay, is actually doing a big disservice to the majority of its people, because the majority of people cannot be able to pay for their own educational needs. From kindergarten to university, they need assistance from government. They also need to assist themselves. So when they are old enough, they should be able to pay back whatever assistance that they get from government so that it can be put in a cyclic fund. It can be recycled. Other people can come and use it. The fifth and probably last social security program that any government should be able to put into place in order to be able to look after its people the way it is supposed to according to its purpose is the National Transport and Communication Insurance Fund, which would ensure easy and affordable transport and communication service to everyone. These are just some of the many national social security, social solidarity, and social protection funds, systems, and programs which any national government is obliged to set up in order to fully fulfill its function, purpose, or mandate. Tell me what you think about it. Thank you very much for listening. Goodbye.